for me.
You can look for me.
But don't call the road.
Don't call the road till I get there. Till I get there.
I may be blind.
I may be
Lips filled with deceit, a tongue that's quick to lie, hands eager to steal at the batting of an eye, shedding blood, fleshly lust, of these I've had my part. Please don't judge me by my deeds, but judge me by my heart. I haven't been so righteous, in sin I was conceived. I haven't always kept your laws, but I have always believed. Of the wickedness of this world, I confess I've had my part. Please don't judge me by my deeds, but judge me by my heart. In my heart there's joy, and caring does abound. A real concern for others, their love is found. Forgive me of the evil of which I did take part. Please don't judge me by my deeds, but judge me by my heart.
till I get there.
I'm coming, Lord.
Coming Home is a creative writing project that was started a little over a year ago, and its mission is twofold. The first part of the mission is to provide homeless men and women an opportunity to get in touch with their creativity, with that part of themselves that is powerful and that is beautiful, especially at a time in their life when most of their energy is focused on other things, on day-to-day existence. The second part of the mission of Coming Home is to share with others the poetry, the creative writing, and the personal stories that emerge from the workshops. To go outside of our world and experience yours, and to bring you into our world. And when we do all of that, your misconceptions, your stereotypes, and your fears that keep you afraid and distant from other people come tumbling down.
Don't call the road till I get there. Till I get there. Till I get there. Till I get there. Till I get there.
Tonight is an especially important evening for Coming Home because it's a celebration of a really wonderful coming together of worlds. All of the art and the jewelry and the posters that you see here tonight were created by students from the College of DuPage and from Dominican University. Jenny is the painting teacher at the College of DuPage who made this collaboration with the arts possible.
Well, the project began because I was so moved by the poetry that Steffani and the men were producing in the workshops. When I first heard it, I just thought, this is so wonderful, this is so heartfelt.
Being without one's whole self, being without one's own identity, or without a friend, from place to place, never knowing where you'll be from day to day, or night to night, or what the next minute might hold for you. Being homeless is a bottomless pit. Homeless.
A lot of times artists in our culture feel pretty useless against things and causes that they really care about. And I think of someone reading a powerful little poem like Scared and then deciding they had to go to the newspaper, they had to go to political sources to find a powerful enough image to copy and respond to because the poem had brought out such social consciousness in them.
Being a product of the ghetto has given me little room to grow. Having little sense of value creates a fear of doing so. Being a mother at 15 can consume all of your dreams, and becoming one again 2 years after me, there's definitely something the matter. I grew up around the madness, the violence, the drugs, the gangs. I grew up being afraid of being known as the one who used her brain. I walked the streets with friends and got dressed to go nowhere, went shopping at a tender age for a man who didn't care. My mother became my mother at the age of 16, and I don't know if it was me or heroin that took away her dreams. I am a product of the ghetto, and I don't know what to do. For here I am at 17 teaching 2 kids to tie their shoes. And it is commonplace to have sex completely carefree, even though in my mind every time there was a fear of death from disease. But I felt I couldn't say no. Without an education, my body is all I had, and giving pleasure to another kept me from feeling sad. Now at 27, I look at my children, yes, all 5, and I close my eyes and thank the Lord for even being alive. It took a long time for me to know that not everyone lives like those on 90210, and that Father may know best, but as a young mother, I must pass the test. I must raise my children properly, show them how to be all they can be. I am young, and that will help me because I remember well the streets. I will teach them to have patience, for few realize that this is key, and I will start when they are babies and they point and holler me. Young mothers, products of the ghetto, hear me now. To this foolishness, let us now take a bow. Let us bid it farewell. Let us open up our mouths and yell. We must give to our children unlimited possibilities. We must admit we have done wrong and have acted quite silly, but that through our mistakes we have become strong. We must teach them the right way, and though it may seem long, remind them that God blesses the child that has his own.
In the Coming Home Project, we have had 2 of the oldest art forms, the voice through poetry and the touch through painting, which have been so important in the cultures over all the years, in all cultures, come together again.
Today is the first day of my new life. Born of free will, there is a gladness and joy. Spring is everywhere. Life is abundant, and days are like years, and years eternity, and I know this life is blessed. In this life there is light. My first mask, it was fake. I didn't want to see it. I wanted to change the mask. It was me, but it was not me. The wind blows over a field of lilies. Like music, it touches a person and keeps those memories in your mind and peace in the fields. I would like to be like the lilies of the fields, blowing free.
When different worlds come together in an evening like this, nobody ever leaves the same. It's impossible for anyone to walk by a homeless person on the street and not wonder what poetry is in his heart.
The day when the Big Bang created the universe, the day when a dead bang created a mother's worst fear into reality, an unnecessary fatality, and her miseries ever near. Just as in her world, the dirt began to swirl upon the casket's face, filling her son's final resting place. And then, happy faces of school bus races, racing toward an impending doom. You see, the driver's previous job was pacing in a 9x5 room for 2. It had bars, it had concrete, had isolation, but it didn't have a view. And so to ease their depression, they started to pray for blessings, hoping they fall like manna from heavens out of the skies. They didn't think any real faith was required, that it could just be ordered like a 3-piece wing dinner from Popeyes. July 4th, people pounced and shuffled to the fest just to say that they were there. As the community met to rid us of homelessness, gangs, and drugs, and their halls had way too many chairs. And the crowd babbled. You see, when the Big Bang changed the universe, no one seemed to care. Thank you.
One of the great things that I love about the poetry events is that people come together and there's really a great appreciation and acknowledgement of the poetry that you've done. And one of the things that happen is when the artists are there with us at an event, and when the artist presents a poet with a painting, it is a treasure that lasts with you forever. It serves as inspirations for future poetry, and there's just hopes of seeing great art that comes from the poetry that you might write in the future. It's just really a moving experience, one that touches you, and it's so personal because it is a gift.
In my way. I have to cry sometimes. I have to cry sometimes. I laid awake last night.
I was desperate. I was on drugs. Some of my friends called me a hype, even my family. I was restless and needed sweet music in my life. The music of Jesus to heal me from the tree of life. Instead of skating through life and feeling the depression, I am not really happy.
After a while, trouble in my home. Trouble in my home. I have to weep and moan. I have to weep and moan. So much trouble in my home. I have to weep and moan. I have laid awake last night.
See, that's alright.
That's alright.
I know my Jesus.
Jesus, he will fix it.
I know my Jesus.
Jesus, he will fix it.
I know my Jesus.
Jesus, he will fix it.
After a while,
Stepped in the furnace.
a long time ago.
Even though I have no coat and the wind screams through my body, my soul is warm because I can still feel the warmth of the sun in my heart. Even though it's dark and cold, and I can still see the light of the sun and feel the warmth of his presence caress my face. Even though I have no shoes, I can remember the blades of soft grass covering my feet. Even though it's hard right now, things get better, because in the summertime, I won't need this old worn-out sweater.